Heir apparent. This is by far the most forgettable exotic in the entire game, so much to a point I had to pull it from collections just to see what it even does. Now if you like this gun somehow, I'm happy for you, but I'm sorry, I'm going to spend the next few minutes ripping into it and talking about how this thing can never be good. Starting off with the last thing I just said, I don't think it can ever be good. And this is solely because of its acquisition method, as it's only available a few weeks out of the entire year during Guardian games. Imagine the absolute chaos that would ensue if Bungie buffed this thing enough to where it's now a meta contender, and all of a sudden a top option is only available for like 3 to 4 weeks of the year. That one teammate you don't really like, well guess what, you got another reason to not like him because he didn't get heir apparent somehow. This gun can never be good, and I haven't even spoken about what it does yet. Now, as you fire, this weapon generates an arc shield to protect you, but it only generates at full HP, and what the catalyst does is when your shield breaks, the magazine will partially reload. Now there's a few things wrong here. One, the need to be at full HP. If you've taken any chip damage, a random stray shot from a drag, your ankle breaks because you're bad at jumping, or maybe a scion spits on you, any damage makes not only the base perk useless, but the catalyst as well. Now the catalyst really is just a problem in its own because it basically relies on you to take damage to break the shield and get that reload effect. But we all already just established that if you take any damage, the base perk won't work because you can't generate the shield if you're not at full HP. So you have a catalyst that is essentially useless if you take any sort of damage. But the whole purpose of the catalyst is to try to take damage to break that shield. So you generate a shield that you need to take damage with, but if you take damage, the shield won't generate. It's incredibly frustrating. It's just a bad perk, and this gun all around just sucks. Now this next bit is really just a straight nitpick, because it also bothers me that it is a arc shield on a solar gun. And yes, I know that this is a Cabal weapon, and I know that they have arc shields, but I'm still not comfortable with it, and it just makes me feel weird. To go even further on why this gun sucks, you can't even shoot this gun by hip firing it. You need to do an aim down sights, or whatever the aim down sights function of this gun even is. And to make it even worse, there's this like kind of awkward firing delay, kind of like Grand Overture, but paired in combination with the fact that you can't hip fire it, and you need to aim down sights, makes this gun just feel incredibly clunky and not fun to use. Now I know somebody might mention that this gun was good in PvP for like one day, but if the standard we hold a heavy weapon to is how good it is in PvP, when heavy ammo in general has always been good in PvP, like what are we doing there? It doesn't matter if it was good in PvP. It's shit everywhere else. Now I do want to spitball some buffs, but stuff that isn't just give it target lock or make it have burning ambitions, which would be cool to see, but that lacks inspiration. It lacks personality. So the first thing I would do to buff this gun is just buff the acquisition method. It's 2026. Allow this gun to drop at all seasonal events. Guardian games, Solstice, The Dawning, Festival of the Lost. Give people more opportunities to use this gun and give them more opportunities to acquire it, because if you do that, they'll remember it exists in the first place. The next thing I would do to buff this gun is regarding that shield requirement needing to be at full HP. That just needs to be removed entirely, and it'll make the gun way less clunky to use. Also, I think needing to reload this gun in the first place, because I think this gun would actually benefit from becoming a heat weapon like what we've been seeing in Renegades. Allow this gun to just shoot all of its ammo without the long reload animation, and let it vent after it overheats or something. If any other gun could become a heat weapon outside a third iteration, it's also going to be heir apparent. Now sticking with the heat mechanic for a second, I think it would make sense to allow this gun to deal more damage the longer you fire it, but more specifically while it's a higher heat. Now there is a new perk called thermal atomization which would fit well with this gun, allowing it to deal more damage as the heat ramps up and also causing enemies defeated to explode. It's much more personality than target lock in my opinion, but I'll tweak that perk slightly to allow its damage to be maintained as long as you continue to fire the gun, solely based on the next part I want to talk about, which is my buff to that useless shield. Now what I think the shield should be is that I think it should act as like a cooling agent for the weapon, so while the shield is active, the gun will produce less heat, and when the shield breaks, the gun will cool down entirely. This allows the gun to have a much more interesting gameplay loop outside of just, shield breaks and now you can't use the gun anymore. You shoot to build up heat and damage, and shielding yourself at the same time, making heat produce slower, allowing you to shoot for even longer periods of time. And if that shield does break, you can continue to fire even longer, resetting the heat cooldown. When it comes to heir apparent, it is very apparent that even Bungie forgot this thing exists, because as to my knowledge, this has no cosmetic options and has seen no buffs in many years. outside of a pseudo buff involving War Rig now affecting machine guns. But I'll tell you straight up, don't waste your exotic slot on this egg. If you're using active War Rig, stick to Choir of 1 because it's just way better. So let me know what you think about this weapon. Did you also forget it even exists in the first place? And I dare you to pull it from collections right now and remember why you forgot. Thank you so much for watching and have a nice day.